Okay, let's go ahead and start my live stream. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education, entertainment purposes. And as we get people to join, I will just give a quick overview if you didn't see my video last night. Essentially, we clearly ended this cycle from this drawdown here on April 19th, and we have been building higher highs. I do expect to see some separation soon. That's what I'm expecting to see. Then some resistance and perhaps another pretty good pullback, and then we eventually come out. That would be the more like classical way of looking at this, and then you get some kind of like inverse head and shoulder continuation pattern out of this, which should really take us up to the high 500, 600 SPY, get us on that trajectory. Now, this pattern, as I mentioned before, we are still in a connector until we take this high out. So there is always a possibility that you get three waves and then you get another lower low toward the end of May, get another nasty pullback. That would definitely have to take some kind of news event to do that, if that's going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see. But right now, this is very erratic price action. A lot of people are confused what to do, and there is a battle happening between the bulls and bears for control of this market, and there's some violent moves happening. So each side is equally upset that they can't, push it around. So you've got these violent moves and swings. It really represents the emotion behind what is happening with the trading community. A lot of emotion and confusion is what I see here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start questions as people join. We'll see who we get on today. I'll start, Don, with your question on Root and Lemonade. Root was one I was keeping an eye on. And I think that's one we've looked at before, if I remember right here. I'm pretty sure we have that here. Okay, so we were looking for this fifth wave, and we did make a higher high here and a drastic pullback. So it does look like that fifth wave is over, and now we're in a new cycle lower. This looks like 5 down to me. This looks like 5 down, right? Which means we should bounce and fail. So we should bounce and fail. So that's how I would look at that. And that makes sense because you're correcting the whole move. You're correcting the whole move from the beginning, right? So since you're correcting the whole move from the beginning, it's a major cycle top, but it still will be supported in the long term. It's just now it's in a correction. And, it's 5 waves down. The way I look at it, I see 5 up. I don't see 3 up. It doesn't look like a flat. So it does look like we should be bouncing in some kind of connector wave, and then fail. That should fail. Now the other surprise that this could do is your connector wave is actually right here, and it's a 3-wave move, and then you just essentially drop, but very unlikely. Low probability, and in fact it looks like we're already turning up. Okay, I'll go. I'll finish Lemonade and then I'll go right to the super chat, Bama. Lemonade, real quick. LMND. Lemonade looks like we've looked at this in the past at some point. What's going on with Lemonade? So let's see here. So we had this cycle end here. We had 1, 2, and we're looking for the impulse out, but all we got was 3 waves, right? So this is a corrective structure, and then I think it looks like we made a lower low here, and we did. So this was a corrective structure. We come down in 5, and then you have another corrective structure And the question is, will it come back down and really take these two lows out? I would say that's probably where it's heading. Let's take a bit deeper look at this, though. Let's just kind of refresh our chart, our look at it. So massive bottom, but then we made lower lows for an impulse. So we have 5 down, from the peak, the grand, the grand super cycle peak, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So we have to actually maybe go to the monthly. So if you look at the monthly here, we did just break the trend, the downtrend. So looking at the structure is we have this 5th wave. 5 waves are done. So it needs to counter trend rally or it's a bottom. So I don't actually think it's going to go lower looking at this chart, but I wouldn't get your hopes up that it's going to ever come back and take this high out. But I do think it's in the setup for counter trend rally for more upside. That's how I'd look at this right now. A, B, C. So I would look at this like, some kind of 1, 2, and we come out, but we could still be in a 2. So it's very tough chart, but this is obviously a flat, right? So I wouldn't be surprised to see a sharp decline and then we come out. But I'm thinking that the low is in here and we are turning up off of this low. But I believe at some point it will fail and come back down. Just looking at this overall picture. So I that's how I look at this. I think lemonade is tricky in this area, but do what's best for you. All right, let's go to the super chat. Bama, thanks for 20. Let's take a look, guys, at let's see, BTU. Yeah, BTU is really challenging because we have to really understand what cycle degree we're on in the correction. If we're in this cycle here, where we have a 1 2 1 2, we should be buyers at $20.89, $20 any moment we should buy. And if you're aggressive, you would want to buy this and then stop out at 17, because if 17 breaks, then it's 12, 11. It's a bigger degree. Now there's a lot of things going on in the market. We know unemployment starting to rise. We're starting to see a slowdown in GDP. Oil is starting to take a dump. Rates started to reverse. And there's talk, and I just retweeted that maybe inflation will actually come in negative soon. So this is bad for BTU, guys, and the cyclicals. So that type of chart, and if oil does go down to 50, I'm thinking BTU is pulling back to 12 or 11. So this is tough. I'm like, if you're aggressive, you could try to buy this, and I bet you'll get a reaction out of this. But I wouldn't be surprised if it takes it just drops here, given the dynamics I just mentioned, working against it, right? Working against this. The only other good thing it has going is a weak dollar may help it. Weak dollar, and of course natural gas prices could be turning. So there's a lot of dynamics, but ultimately this is the downtrend line, and when this breaks, this is going to really take off. So so I think, if you're trying to like long-term buy this, maybe you buy like a third of a position here, and then if it drops, you buy all of it. And then if it doesn't drop, well, it's just the way it goes. And then maybe you can put the rest on another pullback or retest of this downtrend. But that's how I'd look at BTU right now. But I think it's got a little more downside at least. But you have this you got to be cautious about this. All right, let's go to FUBU. I think I was looking at this the other day when I think it had its earnings come out and got smoked, right? But here's the thing with FUBU. So this low at 120 really has to hold, right? because once again, let's look at this. Let's look at our cycles. As you can see here, from this peak, we reset the cycle. So this cycle is over. This cycle's over, right? This cycle's over here. So this is it. So this is the do or die level for FUBU right here. So it's got to hold this. If it can't hold this, then you've got a 1-2, and it's just going to unravel. So you buy at 138, you stop out at like 119, and you could try to try your luck at that and see what happens. This is kind of a mess. I could label this as like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we pull back, and this is exactly where I would find support at 136. It could also be a flat potentially. So I'm not even going to try to label that, but I think you could buy it here with a stop there, and if you're lucky, that was a low. It reverses the market bonds, and then you get this and you reverse out, and you're out, and you're up here 250, 270. And then PayPal. Let's go to PayPal. PayPal, how was that trading the other day? Let's take a look. So PayPal was we broke this high. We're in a 1-2-1-2 setup, and the way I would label this. So this is tricky because this could be 3, and we could still be in 2. Yeah, this is really, really a tough chart. But for right now, the right way to label it would be, see, there's no divergence there. Well, the 15-minute has some. Again, it could be a really tight impulse, which is common for wave 3s, which is what this is. We're in a wave 3. We're just in a series of 1-2s nested in a wave 3 here. So yeah, I mean, I look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connector down. So yeah, I'd label this as another 1, 2 and out. So where could it find support? 62.97. And of course, you'd want to stop at 61.80, which is the low here. So probably more downside, right? Probably more downside, and then if this is the right count, then it will launch. If it's the wrong count, this will break, and then you've got some kind of flat, and then it will come back to 58. I think this will hold at 55. These sequences look good to me. They overlap each other. I don't see it, so some people could say, is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Let's take a look. To go to the weekly. Yeah, see, as long as this weekly trend holds, as long as that weekly holds, the label I have is intact. Now, if that weekly trend line breaks, then I would label this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we would come back to 58, and we would put like 1, 2, and out. Okay. So this is more the most bullish of you, which is kind of how the market's been playing out lately. So we'll see how this happens. All right. Thanks for the 20, Bama Doc. Yeah, one day I will do that. I think eventually my trading channel will evolve into some kind of more, expansive service where, I could devote more of my time and then grow this as a business and not just a hobby. But I'm trying to just kind of, give this free service and just help people out and but at some point, maybe in another year or so, we can, look at that. But I right now I don't have that. I have a lot going on in my life to do that. But if you watch enough of my videos, most people that follow me figure it out. Okay, Alex, let's go to yours at window and CDLX. I'm not familiar with those, but let's take a look at them here. Window. Is that what it's called? Solar window. Okay. Looks like we've done this before. We've had this before here. Yeah, we were hoping to get this short here, right? We wanted this short area, and it just couldn't make it, so that's okay. Now, we did chart this in 5, right? We called that. We got that right. I wonder if anyone took this trade at 0.003 cents. Somebody obviously must have asked me about this back then, and the thing went to like almost $1. Now, we had it go into 2, which is the wave 4 peak. So I guess we were a little bit off, but this played out beautifully. So now it's in another cycle lower now. I think it's busted. However, I will look here and see what this looks like. Very impulsive on the way up, which, by Elliott Wave's standpoint, this is just too hard to chart. But if this is 5 up, we actually could get one more swing higher and then get us to our target area. So maybe that's how I look at this. Maybe we get one more of those, and then we get to our target area for the short area that we knew it was coming to. So yeah, we really got this one right. I think this is where it's heading. This is where I think it's heading. Do what's best for you. Very risky, but this was super risky. But we saw the accumulation here, and it was just like, yeah, this impulse was done, so we're going to retrace it. So that's what's happening. So that's window and CDLX. That looks like one we haven't done before. Let's take a look. Another one of these pumps where we broke the support here. It does look like 5 up in 5 with divergence. So what that means is, it should find support at some point for another cycle higher. But when that will happen is anyone's guess. So now we need to look at the larger cycles. So here you have 3 and a connector and then an impulse down here. So yeah, see, then where did we bottom on this? Right here. So we have 5 down from this peak. And then here we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we only have 3 here. So actually it is a flat. This is a flat. This is a flat. The buy area would have been negative, so that didn't help. So there was really no way to target your entry, but you knew you were going to pretty much get wiped out. And so really you're trading 2 here, and you're trading against this low, and this looks pretty impulsive off the bottom, right? So actually, and we made a higher high. So yeah, so this is actually looks like we're trying to turn the corner with some divergence here for the 5th wave. So that would put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then there's your 3 waves, and then you have your 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is corrective. Okay, so tricky. This is corrective. This is corrective. This could flat out and go all the way back down and double bottom. I look at this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it do something like that, to just do, drop. But this is a tough one to kind of try to figure out. But the chart as I see it looks something like this. But you'll have to do what's best for you, because you did as you know with flats, you did make a higher high. So this could also be a 1-2, 1-2, and you just can't see the impulse because it's so tight in the price action. That if you could take out 2156 again, it's gonna run. It's gonna run hot. So, but right now, you're in this wave 2 that at some point should fail, and we should get this 3, 4, 5, and then that should be 2. And then that may form a double bottom type pattern, and then you come out later. What do these guys do? Are they like a medical play? Operating a business of operating an advertising platform which includes online, mobile, email, real-time notifications. It operates under the Cardilix and Brig platforms. I mean, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what is that, man. I don't know. Whatever it's doing, it's got strong buys, so the fundamental guys really like it. I don't know what was earnings. Earnings must have done really well or something. Maybe you're seeing some earning growth. We'll have to look at this. But yeah, double bottom coming out of a massive drawdown like that should be a good spec play. I mean, I don't know what the company does. I thought it was some medical play, but it's, you know, cardio. I guess I misread it. But this is how I look at it. Okay, let's go ahead and go through your questions in the order they come in. SWK, we'll take a look at that. Stanley Black & Decker. It's been a long time, I think, since I remember doing that one. That's I don't know if you call that consumer discretionary. So we nailed the 5, right? But we drew this downtrend and we're like, hey, when this breaks, the correction's over, and we're about to break it. And this retraced the whole 5, right? Because that's what grand super cycles do, guys. Grand super cycles always retrace the 5. Always retrace. So boom, you lost the 5. Think AMD, what it's about to go through. I mean, I think, you know, again, it's just my opinion. So here it is. So this cycle's over. Okay, now, sure, could it go deeper? Well, there's no more room, right? If this goes any deeper, it's gonna go to zero stock. It's going, what is it, going bankrupt? It's going bankrupt, right? Or going to be people will be talking about it going bankrupt. We saw Caravana, right? They get saved sometimes. So this too, so you got to back into the low here at 2. You're back in it, and this is just a massive 3-wave move. And now you're trying to come out, and the bulls are taking control of the market again. But it's taking a lot of time. So here you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, right here. And now you're in another 1, 2. That looks like just ended. If my eyes are right, we'll measure it. We'll measure it. A little more downside. It could have a little more downside to 81.95, but it may be finished already. So that's the area, and I would stop out at that low at 76. But you could be trying to trade a wave 3. This could be like a wave 3 situation in the making, a nice bottoming process. And then we get like a little bit of a takeoff, That's what we're hoping for. If we don't get that and these lows break, then this is just it's just a connector of some kind, and you're gonna go all the way down. I mean, it's gonna be pretty ugly. So, all right, thanks again. Let's see here, Kyle, Birmingham, Alabama real estate. Well, that's cool if you're out there in Alabama. You know, I live out here on the West Coast. I live on the West Coast, and I'm in Phoenix today. I travel a lot. Sound. Yeah, sound reversed. It's in a new cycle higher, right? And, you know, it was just a deep retrace of a higher degree, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So when we had this charted before, we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, the market gave us a 1, 2 instead of 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. So again, just like the last stock, we have to back into the low here, because if this doesn't hold, you have a connector for this entire move, which would set you up more than likely to break this low at 143. So you really need this 346 to hold for the cycle to continue higher. That's what we want to see. This could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 out. Could be a lot of things. I won't even try to label it. I won't even try. It looks like whatever it is, it's in a cycle peak and it will pull back a little more. But it should stay supported as long as we're above 353. Okay, let's go Bama. Another Bauman. My bad here. Beam and CCCC. All right, Beam and CCCC. Let's take a look. Beam Therapeutics. You love these biotech plays. 3, there's your low. You held that low, and now you're out, but that's only 3. So this could be a connector, right, for this drop. So I don't like trading it. I don't like trading it. The way I look at this though, if I was trying to chart it, like something like that, and then something like that, and then 2, and we come out. And then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this, but yeah, that won't be the shortest. So, and then I would expect price to drop back to 21, and that's where we hit 21 between the 2 and the 4. Guys, I can't tell you, if you follow me, you know this. Anytime you see the 2 and the 4 overlap like this in a lead-in diagonal out, the retrace almost always goes back between the 2 and the 4. Almost 80% of the time I see on my charts, it comes back here. I mean, it's almost like scary how well that rule works, and it's not even a rule, it's my own rule. It's just something I've observed, and here it is again. So more than likely that low's in. We should come out of this because this looks like 5 up. This is a major cycle peak. So if anything, we need at least one more swing higher. So I would say it looks okay to me. And you could see the major cycle reset. But let's look at the daily cycle. Yeah, daily cycle. So you if I was in this, you go long against 2066. So go long against 2066, and it should come out of this. And hopefully you get some wave 3 action. And we retrace at least back up to $73 in the next year or two. Okay, I got another super chat. Iceman Icy. Okay, let's take a look at RKT. Rocket. I thought we've done that one before. Maybe not. I guess not. Okay, so you have the flat here that finished up, right? A, B, well, sorry, here's your 1, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I won't label that just to speed things up, but here you go. That's your 1. So that's your cycle bottom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, like I said, but between the 4 and the 2, exactly, that's where it bottomed. And then boom, vertical, we overlap, so it's another 1, 2, right? Like I would expect that this becomes another 1, 2. Yeah, I look at it like this. Now this too could come back down again. So there could be a buy opportunity here potentially to keep an eye on at 1078. There could be a buy here, but there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. it could be finished here, and we could be ready to launch. And if rates are going down, guys, isn't that bullish for the home market, right? In general, like people are going to go crazy. It's going to be like, oh my God, rates are going down. Shit, I better get a mortgage. Go buy, before lock them in, So I think that's good for business, right? Isn't that good for I mean, fundamentally, that would be good for this company, right? Because everybody's like, let's go get our mortgages locked in while we can, which is actually probably a smart thing to do given my interest rate forecast over the next 5 years. Because I do think we're going to be in a period of lower rates for just a little bit, and then that will come to an end, and then we'll be in another real interest rate spike. But anyway, that's how I look at Rocket and Home Depot. Home Depot. Yeah, I'm not sure. We had this buy area a long time ago here. I wonder if it will ever make it down there. Now, Home Depot is a mix of housing and consumer discretionary. So as you can see here, we have to probably go to the quarterly chart. Yeah, see the bottom there. So there's your first cycle. So you never really saw three of the super cycle, grand super cycle, because we never took this peak out. So we're actually, I still expect Home Depot to extend. So there's still more good times to come in this stock on the grand super cycle level. But let's take a look here. Yeah, I would say that looking at this, we'll have to go back down to the monthly chart. Here, 3. Yeah, I think the way I would label this, is some kind of 1-2 down here. The 1-2 is like really, maybe like a running flat. You run all the way up, and I won't label all of it, but somewhere over here, your 3 ended, right? You got your 4, and then this is your 5. Now, a lot of Elliott would put 3 there, but because I showed you that RSI never took it out, right? Again, this is the logic behind that, guys, because look, we were more bullish here than we were in this. Look at all the price appreciation we got in parabolic nature, but yet we still couldn't break the RSI peak. So what that means is there's even a bigger push yet to come in this. It's a very interesting chart. It's a very interesting chart because it does represent the housing sector, consumer discretionary, and even the SPY to some extent. So now we need to know, where does this 2 end? So obviously we're in 2, right? A big degree. We're correcting this whole move since 2009. So that's why this thing's in a funk, because it's correcting the cycle since the financial crisis, right? So, my guess is the monthly cycle is going to have to reset. I think we're going to take another leg lower in this. It's just, when is that going to happen? When is that going to happen is the question. This is an A, B, C structure. So yeah, I don't know. This is very, yeah, I mean, actually, because you have a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is important pivot here. 3, 4. As long as you're below 400, this bearish structure's in play in Home Depot. This bearish structure's in play. Now, if you take that out, then it's something else and we'd have to relook at it. So that would get us to 242 for a massive long-term investment opportunity, or even a little bit lower. Because as I mentioned before, you usually lose the wave 5 peak, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it go deeper or down into this area to take more of this wave out. I'm not sure why this would happen fundamentally, but it is what it is. I mean, this is what I see the chart is saying to me. So, maybe it has its own issues as a company, but I'd be looking for something like this to play out. And then we'll hit a wave three that should take out the RSI peak of of this 2099 era. This wave three. So if this really happens, guys, if this really happens, if Home Depot is going to do something like that, then that means it means something's odd with the forecast, right? Something doesn't seem right with the long-term forecast, because this is super bullish. So if this plays out, and this is kind of the first chart that kind of contradicts this narrative that I've shown earlier, where we get a peak at 640. That Home Depot chart shows something a little different, where we don't peak, but we extend higher in a massive blow off top. That, and then it becomes a wave three instead of a fifth wave of a grand super cycle. This was another 1-2, 1-2, and then we go 3 of 3, and everyone's fooled. See, right now we're in wave 5 of the grand super cycle, but like I've always said, wave 5 of the grand super cycle can end if we take this peak out in 2018, 2018 peak. And if that happens, there's no wave 5, guys. There is no crash. There is no super crash. And you're just going to have to accept the fact that it's just going to keep going higher. Now, maybe that's because of hyperinflation. Maybe it's not bullish reasons, but that's just what the price is going to do. The price is going to do what it's going to do, guys. And so Home Depot showing us that maybe we're too bearish with our long-term forecast. Maybe we're too bearish with our long-term forecast here. But this won't support a Home Depot chart that I just showed. The only thing I could think of that I could possibly sync it up with Home Depot, if I was going to chart Home Depot, is maybe and keep it bearish, would be something like this. Here, let me go to our requested stock here. So if I go back to Home Depot, this 2 doesn't find support here, right? And the 2 actually drops down like that. Now if something like that happens, that would support my long-term forecast, right? So maybe we get a bounce and then we fail, and so bears don't lose hope. But I think if something like this happens, this would be more bullish for the stock market. So yeah, Home Depot is probably something to really keep an eye on to kind of predict the long-term forecast. Because if we see Home Depot turning out of this, that's telling you something. Now, if Home Depot really starts to break down, then I bet we're in a market crash scenario. So it'd be very interesting chart to gauge the health of the market on by watching this. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how Home Depot goes here. Good luck with that one. All right, let's go to the next super chat. INTC YNN. INTC. Okay, let's take a look at INTC here. Intel. Yeah, Intel. We've looked at that one before. So we had this drop here, and we got that. It should be bottoming at any moment. It's pretty deep in the box, right? I would expect a bounce at any moment. It should be reversing at any moment. Now, the thing about it here is it doesn't have to. This box is just a high probability area for a bounce. Now, if it does break any lower, then obviously you got to hold this 2462, and it's coming back to retest that. And if it breaks that, Intel's in a lot of trouble technically. It's in a lot of trouble. So I mean, that's how I look at this. I mean, look at that RSI reset. I think it's going to bounce at any moment. Do what's best for you on that. YNN, when to take profits? You know what? It depends on your trading style. So many factors, but I'll just give you my analysis, and then you'll have to decide what's best for you on when to sell it. You know, So I look at this structure, and so you don't really have a 4 like of equal degree here, right? Of almost a 4-hour cycle reset. So I look at this, I'd be waiting for this 4 to come, and then you should get a 5th wave with some divergence. Then I'd start, then if you want to take profit, you take profit there. But honestly, I wouldn't even take, like, I would just hold it. Like, it depending on where your entry is. And maybe you sell some of it here and then let the rest ride for a while. Let it ride. But take some off the table here. Maybe take off your initial position that you put in depending on where your entry is, assuming you've made a lot of money on this. And then let the rest ride. House's money ride. Because this is going to come out. This will finish an impulse. And when it's finished, it will retrace. And then we'll actually get another swing higher. At that point, that would be the time to like leave the trade completely. But that could be months or even a year from now. So that's a long time. So and then of course, if we retrace back down, it's got to hold 1767, right? So if for some reason it has a catastrophic decline and we break this, then I would definitely leave it here. So this is a stop out area. The rest is just you let it ride, but you should get a 4 to 5, and then you can move your trading pivot up again and just keep doing that. So, but this is the count. This is the count. So there's more upside coming. More upside coming. Again, do what's best for you. I can't be wrong. Okay, let's look at some of your other questions. Coinbase. Let's take a look at Coinbase here. Coinbase, all right. So we had 5 up, 3, 4, 5. So we got this 5 waves with divergence. So to me, we're going to bounce and fail. Right, we're going to bounce and then fail. So that's what I'm looking for, something like that. To me, I think we still bounce, chop around, whatever this, and then at some point, dump. And again, the beat could even come up like that. So I think that's how I look at this right now. If the connector is really shallow, like let's say, oh my gosh, it's done, then it's just going to go straight down to 154. But this is the correction here. Because we made this little dip here, you can't call that a low anymore. Anyway. GS, Goldman Sachs, right? I think that's what that one is. Here. Let's take a look here. So B is coming up. So this is 5 waves down, 3 up. So I look at Goldman Sachs, 3, 3, my guess is it's gonna do a flat, guys. It's gonna reverse somewhere in this area, and then technically it should start to go lower. For maybe it hits 236 at some point. I just can't label this as 5 waves. This does not look anything like 5 waves. I mean, you would have to. I mean, you would have to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and then 3 of 3, and you just launch. Let's look at the RSI sequences and see if we're too bearish on this. Lower pivots. Yeah, Yeah, I would just be careful in it. I'd be careful in it. I don't like chasing this thing. It's just something suspicious about it. You see how this kind of did that and then boom, rug pull. Just be careful. Like December, we start topping out and then we get a rug. Like I don't know. I just would be careful in it. I don't like chasing it, but I could be wrong. Do what's best for you on that. Okay, Arizona or AZ Wheeling. I think it's Arizona. MPW. All right, let's take a look at that. MPW. Oh, it's a REIT. Well, it held that low. That's a good sign. You only have 3 up though here. You're still in the downtrend. So here you have 3, 3, 3. So this is corrective. So then you have 1, 2, and then wipe out. My guess is it's going to go down more. I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is tough to chart, but I would just look at when I look at this, structure. This is the sell area. It was some kind of flat. Some kind of flat. That's what it's going to do, something like that. I bet this 3 is coming to an end soon. So I bet we're going to get this wave 4 soon, but then it will fail. It should fail. So we should be, so at some point this leg will reverse. Yeah, we have to. It's starting to turn up. Starting to turn up. Yeah, my guess is it's either in the process of reversing or bottomed or it's already bottomed. And yeah, I mean I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulders here. Look, I mean we're coming out. I think we're turning the corner on this. But at some point this is going to fail and then you'll get another low. So that's what I look at that MPW. Thanks for the 5. Okay, let's take a look. Keep going. KNSL. This is pretty bullish, but interesting. We can't really use our RSI technique. The chart data is not really sufficient. Right, this is do something like that. So it's like sideways chop for quite a while. So that's how I'd look at this thing. And you see how you lost the wave 5 here. But this looks like it should find support here and then turn higher. Usually wave 4 does a retrace up to the 618. So we went a little beyond that here. So we could actually see more downside to 349.23 for Fibonacci support. There's your connector. So it's just sitting in the area buy area. So this is the entire area for the wave 4 turn. And like I said, there could be a little more downside, but because it's in the area, this may be all you get out of it. So I do think this is where it's heading, and then we get some more upside, and then it stalls out somewhere around 600 bucks or so, and then get another drop. All right, do what's best for you. Let's take a look. I got some more super chats coming in. Rio Tinto, yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's see if I can find Rio on here. There it is. Okay. So we have this bottom at 34. This lower low sequence is not good here, but let's take a deeper look at everything. You see that RSI reset? See how it bottomed there? So this could have truncated, but that's really bullish. That's almost too bullish, right? It should have went deeper. So I'll just label it this way. This is the most bullish interpretation of the chart right now. 5 connector, 1 2 1 2 3 4 3. See, this is a 3-wave move down. So I would be really careful in this. I'd be really careful in it. But like I said, you guys, like, I mean, again, you'll have to try to do what's best for you. But something like that with this a bearish triangle that's about to break down. That's what I would be, because again, if oil's going to go down, GDP's low, growth isn't happening, then the Rio will go about face. It will be like, oh shit, boom, oil, that's what will happen. So I would probably think this. Now it could go up more to like 71 here, but I bet you got a reversal coming that looks something like that. Okay, another one here. Halstone, thanks for the super chat. Let's go to your question here on Riley. Is that Riley Auto? Oh, B Riley. Okay, don't know it. Easy connector, another swing down, 5 waves. Yeah, this is like 1 2 3 4 5. This is a weird structure. Bigger picture, it's been in a bear market as long as the company's been alive, right? 5 down, right? 1 2. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less of this, right? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, I don't know why. Why is this so bearish? What's wrong with this company? Yeah, I think it's in like, it's in this is where it's going. Once that trend line breaks, it's game over. Reverse split territory. Good luck on that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Anonymous. Yeah, Bitcoin. All right. Can you give short-term price targets? Yeah, I'll do that. It's always hard to predict the shorter time frames, but Again, I'll just give you my best interpretation of the charts that I see them here. Let me get back to where I was here. Okay. So for me, the wave 4 target is hit already. Now this morphed into a triple correction, a triple. Now triples normally are in wave 4 type setups. So here we are. So this is a low. This has to hold, okay? So I think this will hold as 4. The wave 5 target would be around 78, 80,000, and then we would reverse. And the next target from there more than likely would be 52, 48,000. That's just my hunch tells me that's what will happen. That's how I look at it. If for some reason Bitcoin fails and breaks this pivot, then I would be looking at something different. I would look at it as something like 48,000. And then it won't be a wave 4 anymore. It'll be another 1, 2, right? That would be too big. It would be too long, too big. It would become something different. So that's how I look at it. So, I mean, if you're like, where's the wave 4? Well, the wave 4 is over. In my opinion, it came and gone. The wave 4 is done. And now we're in wave 5 of 1. And I want to just see it keep going. But you have to keep in mind, guys, that I could be wrong with this forecast, and this just moons. It just goes parabolic because technically it can do that. And we have spent a lot of time here doing, so this may not be a 4. This could be another 1, 2. It could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 of 3. So if you're like hoping for this, it may not happen. That's why I said I was like 50-50, maybe 60-40. So 40% chance, 60% chance this happens right now, given the data. So it's very tough to predict where Bitcoin's going in this chop area. But you'll have to kind of decide. But I do think I favor this, looking at stocks like Coin, MicroStrategy, and some of the crypto stocks that don't look like they've bottomed. They need like another dump, and this would give them another dump when this Bitcoin wave 2 comes. That's why I favor this look in Bitcoin right now. But anyway, do what's best for you on that. Thanks, Anonymous. So if this happens, I think there's a good chance wave 2 will drop to 52,000. I think it's a good chance that will happen. It's just a good chance. That's just my experience trading. Okay, it looks like you followed up with another one, and I appreciate that super chat 25. I appreciate that. And I really love that you guys are making some good money on some of these picks. I know I can't trade them all. I wish I could buy everything you guys suggest because I'd be rich right now. Because a lot of these are hidden. I'm watching these you guys. I'm like, damn, I should have bought that with you, So technology, Neo. So Neo's just, Neo, we talked about Neo started a new bull cycle higher. We called it on our channel that the major low was in. Again, all we got for wave 2 was this little dip here. I mean, it was freaking nothing. Look, nothing. That's what happens when these bullish things break out. I mean, look, that's all the dip you got. Just a little wave 2. That's it. So maybe this is the wave 5. Hopefully that isn't done, and you just get, but it could just keep going. I mean, again, there's no reason to sell it. There's no reason. Now, the 45-minute cycle is way extended. I mean, it's gonna break down. So I think this move has got to be over soon. It's got to be coming to an end pretty soon. And if that's a connector, that would drop you down to 524, 510. It will be interesting to see if we get a shallow pullback here that we could buy 1, 2, and get even a bigger move, or takes a massive dump back down to 469. So I do think we got to. I mean, it just needs a breather, but it's people want to buy it. They love it because they've been waiting. We've been waiting. I know. But I think it's, I mean, this to me, like I said, this low represents the end of a major cycle that had ended. On the downside is now over. Like most of the stocks, BABA, Biden, like I think a lot of China ended a major cycle down in this area. So there's going to be a lot of gains, but it's going to take a long time to play out. But I think with Neo, unfortunately, because of the look of the entire wave, there's always a risk it may not regain its former glory all the way up here. It may never get back there. So, but it's great to trade it right now. It's good upside, and I think there's more upside to come. Um, let's go to your crypto ones that you have here. Um, yeah, so this one, let's take a look here where we've got it 150. So here, so we got this third wave here, and we came back down and we broke the low. So this is kind of a mess a little bit. This one, it's not as clean as I want it to be here, but let's take a look here. So I look at this connector and it failed. I still think we're at a connector. So my take is it's gonna do something like this and swing up to like 153, 164, somewhere in this area or close to it, and then reverse like the rest of crypto, like just like the rest of the crypto forecast. I think to me this is gonna do something, something like this. And then this is something like this. That's what I think. I think it's gonna do that. All right. Next is LTCN. So we're in this X. X is very, like I told you, it's very choppy. It's sideways, and it's gonna be tough to trade. So this to me is gonna do. It's probably gonna do the same pattern I just showed you earlier. A, B, C, and fail at some point. But trying to predict what the X wave is really it's almost impossible. I hate trading X waves. I hate trading B waves because they could be triangles. There's violent overlap. Like it's just really tough to get to. You really have to just sit on the sidelines and wait for that capitulation wave to come. Because you already got the bounce. So now, I mean, we could even say, oh, it's X in here, and we just drop. So I will give another buy area. So this buy area is negated. So just in case, there's another way to look at this chart, and that would get you to 1614. So I'll leave a box on the chart here, just in case we get a capitulation drop, and we could put X there, and then put Y there, and big X, this X here. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just showing you how we trade it, and I would just have this on my chart and just watch it. And, oh, if it's down here some reason I'll just buy it. Like if that happens, if the market decides to do that. I'll go to the coins later. It's the same again. It's the same thing for Bitcoin Cash. It's in this B wave, and it's just gonna, it's just gonna do something like this, I think, and then down later. And again, if it does, and then the box, in case it decides to just drop. That's a big drop. 535. That would be really big. But I believe that's because of the premium. I think that's like what like a more normal premium. I got to go back and look, but I want to say that's like $500 a Bitcoin. That's probably where it should be trading right now. But don't, you guys should check that out. I think, but I think this is how it'll play out, something like that. But you'll have to do what's best for you. But I have a box. This is where I would buy it if it dropped there. But I don't think it's going to go down that far. But it could here. And then Litecoin. So Litecoin hit this too, right? And now we're coming out. And it looks like to me, based on this chart, we should continue higher and then pull back. So this could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 out. It could be a lot of things. I won't label it, but it does look like this is a major low. So 74 really has to hold, or we'll break 70. And if we break 70, then we've got a lot of downside that should take us all the way back down to 57. And if we break 57, then we're in that massive drop. But it just doesn't seem likely that will happen. Bitcoin Cash. We broke the low, so we have a connector here, but let's verify that we have the connector. It was a very shallow connector, but yeah, that's a connector here. This is a connector, so I would call that the connector there. So it's probably not a 4-wave anymore. It's probably another 1-2, 1-2 setup. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's got more downside to 296 in this 1-2, 1-2 setup. Something like that. It makes sense because look, this is the extended fifth, and we'll lose the whole 5. We should lose the whole 5. That will allow us to lose the whole wave 5 here. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I would want to hold that 166 though, or it becomes a 3-wave move, which is a corrective pattern. So it really needs to hold this level here. And we want the RSI to break this low, but hold that low. Let's take a look, bigger picture. So the bottom is here. So it's still got plenty of downside. So yeah, I think it comes down. The weekly comes down to here, finds support, and we come out. That's the ideal technical trade on this. Do what's best for you on that. But in the shorter time frame, I mean, this looks like again an A, B, a 1-2, 1-2. I mean, this could be a lot of things. So I think that the right thing to do is just kind of let this play out and then dump at some point. All right, I think I got that. Thanks again. I'm glad you worked out. All right, let's go to Dogecoin. Another super chat from Alex. Dogecoin here. That used to be really popular, but not a lot of people request it anymore. I wonder if that's a good sign. It's like nobody's paying attention to it. Like I don't even have it here anymore. I'll just use Binance or whatever. All right. So clearly there's 1, and then there's 2 here, right? And then this, it's hard to see it, but there's a 4 and a 5 there. 1, 2, and you come out. This cycle is over. The daily cycle. Yeah, it's an interesting chart because you could put a 1, 2 here, and another 1, 2 here, 3, 4, 5. So I would probably do something like this, almost like Bitcoin's chart, right? You get a 5 and then you pull back and then you come out. It's like mirrors Bitcoin's chart, essentially. So more than likely we're in wave 5 right now. This wave 4 is over. And it was a triple too. As you see, you took the peak out. You never broke the cycle. Yeah, these triples are going to fool a lot of traders out there because a lot of people don't understand triples. These triples. So then it's out. So I think that's what I'm looking for, and then a peak, and then a pullback, and you probably lose the whole move again, something like that. Then you get the pump that everyone dreams about. So, all right, Alex, let's go to yours. GB05. I'm not familiar with that bond, but we'll see if I can find that on TradingView. GB05 here. I'm assuming this is it. All right, so there's a 5-year yield on Britain. Okay, like most of the world markets, we ended a cycle that goes back even further. So we're just going to say we're bullish off that low, right? We're bullish off that low, and like most of the world markets, we took out this high here, which was devastating for the long-term interest rate forecast, but not maybe in the short term, but the long term. Because what that means is we'll have another swing higher at some point. But I do think like everything will drop again. So the way I label this is I put a 1 here, there'll be a 2, and then a 3, 4, 5. Or we may just get 3, and then we come all the way down in negative rates. Here we come. So there's no guarantee we'll get this 4 and 5 in the future, but more than likely we'll get this 3. So here, to me, this is just like the rest, like the other markets where you have a flat type correction. You know, here probably something like this. Now that one here, that looks very 3 waves. Very 3 wave-ish, 5 wave-ish, bottom. All right, so this one's a little different. Again, I can't correlate two markets, two different markets, but to me, this looks like it finished here, and then you made a 5-wave move off this low. And then you made another 3-wave move here. Okay, so you took it out. Yeah, the higher time frame. So I'm going back and forth on this. Yeah, so looking at it at a higher time frame, I expect that this will dive and take it out. So I do think I'm going back to my original forecast on this, and just calling it a 3-3 fly flat. Because on the higher time frame, you don't have divergence at the peaks, which is really the right way to interpret this cycle. And then this is some kind of 1-2. Yeah, I just don't like how this subdivides this leg, but maybe if we go to a shorter time frame, we could see the divergence at the low. That one you don't see any. There it is. Very little bit, a bullish divergence. So I mean, it is an impulse, but it's just so tight. It's just hard to see it on the charts. So you would label it this way and down. So looking at the 2 though, it looks like it could go to 4.596, a little bit higher. So I'll leave this box here. It could still get to this box. So and then it could turn after, you know. So it may not, it won't go that low. I don't think. I think 233 somewhere around here. So I have to wait and see how it plays out. But that's how I look at the GB 5-year. All right. Okay, let's take a look here. I do a few more questions and get out of here. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look again. I just go in the order, and if you super chat, I jump to it. I'm going to stay on for like maybe another 5 minutes or so. So I think I left off at LMT here. Lockheed Martin. Let's take a look here. So we're stuck in this wave 4. So we have a 5 here, the 3 here. We have another 4 here. So now we're in this 5. So that's how it's playing out. So I still think we'll get more upside, but as you can see, we're in some kind of top-in pattern. And they'll just keep doing the same thing. So it's in a distribution phase on the grand super cycle. More than likely, its best days are behind it for a little bit of time before this thing needs to finish out, drop. So that's how I look at that one. All right, next is SMCI. Yeah, let's look at SMCI. How's that been going? We really been nailing that one, right? Yeah. We got the buy area here. So it's kind of like another very important pivot for SMCI. It really needs to hold this low here, this double bottom here. If it breaks it, let's take a look. Yeah, it's a connector. So if it breaks that low, it's going to set you up for prices much lower and pretty much unwind the pump. It'll drop you to 339. So we really want to see that low hold, and we finish out at 1500. Okay, that's SMCI. FUBU I already did my video earlier, so just for time's sake, you can see that earlier. HZEN is one that is in the buy area right now. But we need to be careful. Like we could have got another connector here, so let's take a look. And we did. So this negates this buy area. But we did get a bounce. See, you would have bought here. You still would have got a tradable bounce, but then you would have stopped out. So now we're taking another leg lower, which isn't good. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that's not good because that sets you up for much lower prices all the way back down to this consolidation area. So I would say it doesn't look good. I wouldn't, because of this stop out here, I wouldn't trade it anymore. It had an opportunity here, but then it failed. And that's how it goes. Now you could try to buy it again down here, and then I'm sure you'll get another massive pump later if you're patient enough. Do what's best for you on that. And away. Amplify. Amplify. 3 waves, flat. 1 2 1 2, or 1 2 3 4 1 2. Yeah, this is a connector, a lower low that will fail. So this has got more downside coming, unfortunately. I would say that the short area is at 21.51 and $22. I think this low will come and get taken out at some point in the future. Okay. It looks like I got another super chat come in. Trying to make sure I get to all these. Hal Stone, M-O. Okay, Hal, M-O. Altera. Okay, so Altera looks to me like you've got three waves with the connector here. So this is a low, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Or let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it does look like 5 up for me here. And then we come back and we're down with RSI reset. So it was a real shallow correction. Again, it fell in support between the 4 and the 2. So it looks like it's ready for a potential wave 3 out. That looks good. So that looks good. That looks like so this low has to hold at 38. So you're trading 38. So this could have a lot more upside coming. Do what's best for you guys. This could have been a grand supercycle correction. So this could be going into grand supercycle wave 3. You know, maybe if we're going into recession, everyone's gonna, take up smoking again, right? Because everyone's stressed out, they lose their jobs. So I don't know. So here it is. That's how I look at this. Now, this is a very important pivot to hold, but the most important is 3091. So this is a bottoming process, and it should come out of this. That's how I look at that. So this is actually a pretty good chart here. GME, I heard that was reversing on my stock twits. Stock twits was really excited about GME. Let's take a look at where we're going with it. So let's see here. We have the 3 waves down, 3 up, and now you have 1 more down. So it has 1 more leg lower. I don't know where the target's going to end up being. So I do think this cluster should fail pretty soon. Maybe it's still got a little more upside, but I bet it has 1 more leg lower. Let's take another look. Now, what's interesting is you've got a massive RSI reset. So you have a massive cycle reset. So I think the right way to label it is, like you said, you have 3, and then you have your connector, and 3, it just truncated. So it's season. So this is a bottom. So I think GameStop finally found a major low here at 988. At least for this corrective cycle that goes essentially all the way back from January 21. So this cycle is over, finally, finally. And now it's in a new bullish trend. How high it goes is anyone's guess. How high it goes is anyone's guess. So just trade carefully. But we know this thing can get crazy. So it's in wide open 3 of 3. Why was it so bold? What got everyone so excited? It's just a random pump, technical pump. Was there any news or something? I wonder if was any news. But yeah, now given that condition, if we do get a pullback, it'll be a lot safer to buy it. Now against this low at 993. Okay. I'm just going to scan comments and call it a day. Now apply your Home Depot ABC pattern. Yeah, I mean that would be like if Home Depot, like if we look at the indices and say like, okay, ABC on the indices, Home Depot, let's say it has more upside. Maybe that gets us up to here on the indices. So maybe we don't make it to 610. Maybe we make it up to like 580. And then we top out. So we don't know how extended we'll get to. But this is this area, but so maybe Home Depot could have a little, and then Home Depot finishes its C leg here when the indices do this dump that I have. Maybe and maybe the indices start it here. Maybe it's just off a little, but this is the idea. So I think I can make this sync up with the Home Depot forecast. What I can't make it sync up with is if Home Depot just takes off and moons, like bottoms and just goes high. then this probably isn't the right forecast for the indices. It's more than likely then we're in wave 3 of the grand super cycle still in a 1-2-1-2 setup, and no one's going to see it coming. Which again, maybe for all the wrong reasons, right? It may not be because everything's awesome and amazing and it's like, like dot-com era, party like it's, 2000. It may be hyperinflation, Venezuela style, dollar collapse, and gold surges, Bitcoin's, trading near $1 million, but loaf of bread is $20, gasoline's $20. Like, you don't know why. Like, we don't know. But if we do like Moon, and that's what a lot of traders like, I love like again, love them saying Bitcoin's going to go to like 10 million and all that shit, but like what is like, are you going to be able to buy with that Bitcoin at 10 million? Like what's the world going to look like if Bitcoin's at 10 million? I bet you there'll be like massive to get Bitcoin to those figures. I bet inflation would be way out of hands, like hyperinflation, like Weimar style republic hyperinflation, like to get but Bitcoin, I just don't see it get into those kind of numbers while inflation's running a nice 2 to 3%. Now I could be wrong, but I do think like this chart with the Dow Jones, if we get the Moon Boy chart and it's a 3 of 3 and Grand Superside, I just worry that that's not good for society, even though it's great on paper, because I worry what would cause that could be some massive hyperinflationary event. But that's just a worry. It may not come out. It may be wrong. And maybe it is going to be like party like 2000. AI changes our lives, and it's like the world as we know it's different, and everyone's just rich and they don't have to work because robots work, and we just get free money in the market. Everyone, I don't know how the future is going to play out, guys. But the chart is telling you we have a couple paths ahead of us. But if you I guess if we're alive long enough, we're going to see a massive move in this market, and it's going to be a crash that people dread, or a massive move. I think there's a massive move coming, one way or the other. But I do see the long end of the rate spiking, which tends to be pretty negative. So I would expect a crash if the long end, and that would be a government debt crisis, a national debt, with the next president coming in, the next administration having to deal with that, probably a new Fed chair also having to fit, because more than likely that would be the end for Powell, and then new Fed chair comes in, and usually the markets tend to crash or after crashes with new Fed chairs. So we'll have to wait and see. Because I think when Greenspan took over, right before 87 crash, right, and then Bernanke right around the '09 crisis. So I think these guys like to come in right at the bottom or right before crash. I read that somewhere. Anyway, so just kind of keep going here. Any other comments? SoFi, I predicted SoFi right, guys. I told you guys it was going down. Everyone's in disbelief on CNBC with SoFi. If you followed my channel, we weren't in that trade. People, I know you guys wanted to go long it. I was warning you, be careful. Don't go long that stock. Don't go long that stock. It didn't have a good chart, and it didn't work out. So that's the end, guys, for the channel today. End of the live stream. Good luck trading next week. Let's hope we can get some continuation out of this correction, and then maybe find some resistance at 520, 522 for a pullback toward the end of the month, and then towards I would say late June, early June, mid-June, we finally get running on